Hello and welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to talk all about another personal experience. I've been getting a lot of really good feedback on it, and I think it's just a really cool way to learn astrology and to kind of compare it to your own chart or other people's charts. And it can be a little bit more helpful than just, what the books say, right? Real personal experiences are a lot more helpful in many ways to many people. So in this image, what you can see, I've circled some of the important factors I'm going to talk about, not all of them, but a few of them, because I later realized that there were some more really cool aspects going on at the time. But the first thing I want to point out is the Saturn conjunct Saturn. So this was happening during my Saturn return, and the event that occurred on this day, I mean, of course, the whole timeline around this time was wonderful, but this day in particular, I got married. This is my first marriage, my only marriage. And as you can see, circled in the red, I have my natal Saturn literally almost conjunct my transit Saturn. So in my Saturn return, almost exactly conjunct. It's off 1 degree. I got married. And a lot of people are afraid of Saturn return. But if we have done the work, grown up and done what kind of Saturn wants us to do, he'll reward us. And so my experience from my first Saturn return was wonderful. I had a wonderful experience, and I want to share that to those of you who have not had your Saturn return, that it doesn't have to be scary. And if you are fearing it and it hasn't occurred yet, that you can start putting in the legwork and doing the work and growing so that you can really appreciate it. Because to this day, I look back at my Saturn return as one of the most wonderful times of my life, the most memorable by 100% so far in my life. I've got a lot more life to live, so maybe there'll be some more, I hope. But so that was the first thing I wanted to point out, that the day we got married, it was literally, my Saturn was conjunct transit Saturn. The second thing I want to point out is that Uranus was transiting my 9th house, and you can see that in the blue up above there. And I do have a separate video on my channel on what Uranus in the 9th meant, and I kind of elaborate on more. But in terms of my marriage, I got married in another country. I'm originally from Canada. I got married in the United States, and my husband therefore is a foreigner. We are also different ethnic backgrounds, so he was different in that sense. And I want to say it was kind of out of the blue. We didn't really plan to get married. I was never one that wanted to get married. I was all like independent woman and all that stuff. And I just didn't really care for it, need it, want it, and it just kind of happened where we were living in different places, and this was one way that we could be together and life could be a little easier. And so it wasn't like, oh, I love you, spend the rest of my life with me. It was more like, should we do this? Like, it was more like a conversation on logic. And we're still happily married. Life is still wonderful, but it was very kind of unexpected in that sense. I don't know that he was expecting to get married either. But so yeah, we got married. And then also our marriage was kind of, I guess you could say, unusual in the sense that we didn't have a traditional wedding. We just went down to City Hall, or, I don't even know what they call it in the US. It's called something else. The county, state county or something like that. I don't know. And my mom and my stepdad were there, and it was just really chill, low key. We went for a nice dinner afterwards, but it was not your traditional, wedding with, $40,000 down the drain. It was like, I think I spent like $50 on my dress. So it was very unusual in terms of the traditional wedding. The other thing I want to point out is that my natal Uranus was trine my transiting Uranus. So my natal Uranus is sitting in my 5th house, and it's circled in blue, and I draw a line all the way up to Uranus sitting in my 9th. So 5th is love and romance, right? And joy and pleasure. And then the 9th house is foreign people, places, travel. So I fell in love with a foreigner. We got married. And a trine is like that easy, like you don't have to do anything energy. It just feels like life is just, working out for you. And that was literally my experience of it. And during this time, I was not as adept with astrology. Like I was not tracking these types of things. I was just living my life. And so looking back, I'm like, oh my gosh, I literally felt like the universe was blessing me. I felt like I was finally, like, after all these hard years of paying off, I just felt life was easy. And it wasn't because I fell in love with someone. It wasn't about like, you complete me. I'm not into that crap. It was just about, like, I feel good. I'm aligned. Like I am safe with this person. This is my person. And I'm not one of those, like, you're my everything, we're going to be together forever. Right. I mean, I hope so, but I'm not that type of lovey-dovey person. I'm more like, this is working now. I love you. Let's make this, let's work on this. Let's see if we can get through life together. Right. And we both kind of have that mentality. And yeah, so it's not like that Cinderella story. I'm not referring to that. I'm referring to just being aligned, feeling like everything is just working out and just feeling really lucky. Luck is another thing that I really felt during this time. And speaking of luck, let's go down to Jupiter. I did not circle this, but transiting Jupiter is in my second house at 19 degrees, and it's just about conjunct with the transiting North Node in that second house. And so my translation to how I experience this, most people would think, you get a new job or something like that. I actually let go of a job, right? I moved country, so I had to let go of my job. I ended up, paying off some debt during that move because we just had the resources to do so. I think I had like a really good tax return or something like that. So I ended up paying off some student debt or a credit card or something like that at the time. So we can see like the transiting South Node is in the 8th house, right? But I also felt like I let go of like some baggage. Like I was free from something. I can't explain it any better than that. And that could be the South Node in the 8th house, like letting go of trauma, letting go of old stuff that's not yours anymore. And it was just, again, really easy. Now, the Jupiter conjunct the North Node in the second house, to me, I started moving towards a new, like I didn't have a job. I actually was out of work. I couldn't work because I didn't have, I wasn't legally allowed to work in the US at that point. So I was very reliant on my partner's income, which was kind of interesting. But I felt like my self-worth had really been boosted. And again, I'm going to keep using the word aligned. So for me, Jupiter conjunct that North Node in the second house was more about my self-worth and my values. And also, maybe some material possessions, because we did end up buying a timeshare. We did end up buying, I guess, newlyweds, right? We bought, house stuff. So nothing like huge. So that's kind of the way I experienced it. I didn't experience it the way most people would think, like you're going to get a new job and all that. Now, I will say I was planting the seeds for a new job because I was finishing school at that time. So I had let go of my one job and I was going back to school to pursue something else. So that could be also where that Jupiter was planting those seeds, because a lot of people don't realize Jupiter doesn't always give you what you want when that transit is in that house, but you're planting those seeds. So even if Jupiter's in the second house and you don't see the money come in right away, wait a few years and you might look back to when Jupiter was in that second house and realize, wow, like that year was pivotal to my financial stability today. And I can also say that too, in terms of planting seeds with this new person and this new life. And yeah, so thought I would share that. I'm not sure if there's really anything else I really want to point out regarding this day, but that was the day we got married. And since then, we've been together for, I think, 7 years now. And life has been pretty easy for us. Of course, no marriage is perfect, no relationship is perfect, but it's been, for the most part, joyful, easy, fun, and adventurous. Like that's the biggest thing I can say is adventurous. We travel a lot, we move a lot. So I hope that this is helpful for you guys. If anyone sees anything else that maybe I forgot to mention here, feel free to share. If anyone has experienced any of these transits, let me know. I love to hear from people. I know some people personally will email me. I love that. So feel free to personally email me or comment on the thread below. So stay tuned for some more videos.